Lego project, car check.
Yeah. Up in Lexus like it's 07, I just hit a lick, gotta hit the next one. Last year I know you learned your lesson, I could GPS you if you need addressing. Also I'm a bigger homie, but I'm 1 year older.
Alright, hey, what's up guys? How's it going? Today, obviously, we're going to be doing a review of the Lego Lamborghini Sian FKP37. And yeah, I'll give you guys my thoughts. Unboxing, well, it's already built, but you guys saw that from the live streams and the videos I've done on TikTok. This is more of a recap video, an unboxing experience video showing you guys what's inside, and then talk about my thoughts and all the features within the car. So let's get into it. So starting off with the box, it looks super cool. You got the front like bonnet or the hood, depending on where you're from. But it's all green, it's textured, you can actually feel it. And it's a pretty bold front cover, to be completely honest with you. Going on this side, there's not really anything unique here. But here you have your unique wheel design. What else? Like a little hologram to show it's like legit. Where it gets super cool is this part of the box, which shows the rear of the vehicle. You got like headlights, which are also textured, the Lamborghini logo, which is textured on your exhausts, which is really cool. The front, this side of the box, just shows you the Lego set number, the number of pieces, which is 3,696, and that it's recommended for people 18 years or older. So, but yeah, I think that's about it here. Going around the back, let me show you this right here. The back of the box is what the, I guess, conventional front of the box would look like. You have all your details here. You got the Technic branding, the Lego branding, and then what the car should look like, as well as all the details. So, yeah, with that, let's just open this thing. It's pretty empty. I mean, the box is empty and it's pretty heavy. So, that was something I'm really surprised about, even after finishing the entire set. So we just open it up. There you go. When I look at the inside of the box, and I'll do a close-up shot of it here, you'll see this little quote in Italian. Or it says, "Taste the moment when I finally decided to create a perfect car." And that's kind of the founder of Lamborghini. The whole story of how Lamborghini started was he didn't like Ferraris. Ferrari told him to, get out of here, and he just decided to make his own car company. And it turned into Lamborghini. You also have on the inside of the box here, it has a number 63, which is the amount of vehicles in real production that are going to be produced. A little fun fact there. So that's inside of the top cover. You have all these little like grooves here, nice little details. It's kind of a theme within the vehicle, the headlights, that little like 3-stick design. I don't even know the formal thing. But when you open it up, you get what looks like the back of pretty much like a Lamborghini Aventador. You got like the gills here, and these are all 6 boxes which are segmented for different parts of the build. So you take them out here, we have to. This is box 2, so I'm assuming this is box 1. Just put them off to the side here. And then you have this is where the wheels would have been, the last box, and then so on and so forth. And it goes along with instructions, which we'll show you guys right now. So we just finished that. So I took all of them, put them out here. And then here's where you have, it's upside down, but 2 separate instruction books. So because of the amount of steps involved, which I feel like honestly a lot of them were broken into really small steps, but still important so you don't make mistakes. You have 2 really big books. Let me see if this is book 1 or book 2. This is book 2, so this is the final book. If you guys are curious about how many steps this entire thing had, the official number is 1,084 steps. So, and the cool thing is like, there's a bunch of pictures in here showing like the actual production of the vehicle, the behind the scenes of them making the Lamborghini Lego set and all that stuff. So it's a cool experience that they walk you through while you're doing the build. In terms of how long this took me, I want to say around 15 hours. That was obviously like live streaming it for you guys. So answering questions, going through it, making some mistakes, which we'll talk about that when I get to the build. But overall, the box is free. I mean, I'm going to keep the box. I'm not going to toss it just because, 1, you can hold the instruction manual. 2, it looks really cool. And in the event you want to tear it apart and put it back together, you have everything you need, except for all the plastic bags. There were so many plastic bags I had to toss out. But yeah, let me put this back and we'll get to the car. All right, let's put this off to the side and let's bring out the build. actual finished product, the Lego Lamborghini Sian FKP. I already keep forgetting the name of it. Rip. 37. I'm trying to put here what the 37 stands for. I forget what that is. But basically, in the real world, this is a hybrid powertrain. It's got a V12 with an electric battery, and it's supposed to be their first ever, limited production run vehicle in this configuration, which is really unique. In terms of how it's reflected here, there's a bunch of unique features they included to reflect certain unique aspects of the car. So when we were first building this, and I'll show little clips of that here, you start off with the rear differential and rear suspension, and that's an open diff, unfortunately, so you can get a one wheel peel theoretically if there's power actually being produced to this vehicle. And then you actually start with the transmission, which is an 8-speed transmission, and while the shifting mechanism wasn't the greatest, and that might be because I might have made a mistake, but honestly I double checked it. It's hard to shift every fourth gear. And if I can actually pull up the bottom of the car, it's because basically every fourth gear change, you're changing 2 of the shift collars, I want to call it. So there's more load that it has to pass, more friction, I guess, given all the tolerances that load in between the shift lever and these collars. It's a little more difficult, I guess, to turn every fourth gear, which is a little annoying, but it's not a big deal. You're probably not going to be shifting it all the time. You're going to find one gear and you're just going to be able to see the pistons move up and down and all the wheels turn. Going back to that, it's actually an all-wheel drive system. So the front wheels are connected to the rear wheels, which are connected to the engine, and that's super cool. And you have steering, which is all realistic as well. It's connected to your steering wheel. In terms of anything else on the underside, the cool thing I like about the suspension is their actual bell cranks, which you can see transfer the translational load of the wheels to the suspension, which is really cool. I think the GT3 RS Porsche, which I built, didn't have that. It was directly connected. I think it's more realistic to see this. In terms of the drivetrain, what else do we got? The engine, yes, is a V12. You can actually take out this cover right here. It's pretty easy. And you can see some custom carbon fiber pieces, the Lamborghini logos. Unfortunately, the engine's pretty covered with the cross brace and what would be your engine head. But other than that, the most realistic parts of it are the pistons, the cylinders, the crankshaft. They try to make some exhaust manifolds and look too realistic in my opinion. I'll show you guys close-ups of that here. I really like how they have the little Italian flags. Yeah, that was pretty cool. So I'll put that out back there. I guess we'll start in terms of looks. We'll start from the back going forward. Let's do that. So starting off with the rear, you can see you got exhaust. You have a diffuser, which is pretty aggressive looking diffuser, and the taillights look awesome. I think they did a great job with that. One nice thing you can do here is actually raise and lower the wing, and that is pretty satisfying to see go up and down. Its range of motion is, I guess, limited, but you can putting it up higher and it'll stay there. Putting it back down, I think that's a pretty cool feature. I didn't have that in the GT3 RS, but it's nice to see here. You have your side plates for your wing, which actually line up perfectly when the wing is up in the upright position, I guess let's call it. Going around the middle, you have the hood cover or the engine cover, which is reminiscent of what we saw in the box. And you got those little gills and those side body panels, which is really cool. The top of the car is pretty standard, pretty flat design here. Nothing too crazy. I do want to point out, you can see like little, I'll put it close-ups, but you'll see the like fuel cap, the Lego, like the Lamborghini logos, all that stuff's actually printed onto the piece, which I think is amazing. It's what's going to probably make this one of the more unique production car Technic builds, because in the past, like for the Bugatti, the Porsche, they all had stickers. And I guess I had a lot of OCD and I always want to make sure I get it right. And if you mess it up, it's really annoying and you don't want to peel it because then you mess up the sticker. So yeah, all these pieces that have logos on or branding, like the carbon fiber, the fuel cap, which I think is crazy to admit, the fact that they made that. One, you have to make sure you're putting the right piece during the instructions because there's similar pieces without the actual graphic on it. But two, it's going to make this car last forever. If you don't want to take it apart, put it back together, you can go through the experience the same way instead of having to, go through the steps where you have to put in the stickers. going around to the middle of the car, you have the doors, which obviously go up using these little levers right here. You can press down here and it automatically goes up, which is pretty satisfying. The linkage is super cool to actually see working on that. I made a mistake there, so don't do that. It was actually a really big mistake and took me forever to fix, but it was a fun experience, I guess. You have your side view mirrors, which actually, swivel. It's pretty nice. Looking inside, the bucket seats are actually really nice. They did a good job with the gray and green color combo. And then you have your shift lever. There is no like PRND, like park, reverse neutral, or reverse neutral drive like there was in the Porsche. But I believe down is drive, neutral is in the middle, and reverse is forward. So yeah, you do have your gauge cluster on top of your steering wheel. So if you open up the door and do a shot in there, you have it going at, I can't even see it from here, it's actually really dark. But yeah, it's simulating like it's being driven, which is pretty cool. You have a huge windshield, or what would be a windshield, so a huge dash here. So it's like a bunch of, I guess, empty space between the cabin and then the front of the vehicle. You have a huge overhang, but then it goes into your hood, which is super nice. I like the hinge mechanism here. It's actually supported along 2 locations to actually keep it at any position. I know the Porsche is actually just supported the hinge and it could just flop down, which was kind of annoying. You have your serial number over here, and then your little luggage, which, to be honest, I like the luggage in the Porsche better. The straps or the little strings aren't not really a big fan of. And then you close it off. You have that Lego, that Lamborghini piece printed on. And then you have your headlights, which are by far my favorite part of the car aesthetically. They're super complicated to actually build, to get those angles right. It's a pretty tricky part of the instructions to follow, but it turned out amazing. And if you look down here, you see all the gills, your air intakes, all that stuff. They did a pretty good job of just like simulating a lot of the vents in this vehicle. A lot of attention to detail there. So overall, I mean, my favorite part of the car is the fact that they have nice looking headlights. They're pretty realistic. The wheels are custom made, which look awesome. And then all the custom printed parts. Those are by far my favorite aesthetically pleasing parts of the car. The wing looks really cool too, with all the like unique geometries there and the curvatures. One thing I do want to say that a lot of you complain about, and I didn't notice until I actually heard it from you guys on the live stream and looking it up afterwards, was the slight color mismatches of the different greens throughout the car. So I don't think it was that bad for my vehicle, but you see it the most on the wing. Between different joints, you have a slightly lighter tint of the green as opposed to the other parts of the car, which, I mean, honestly, doesn't bother me too much. Like, I get it. I'm not like a huge stickler about that. But yeah, someone who's really like, really wants to keep everything consistent, has that OCD to that degree, really wants it to all be the same. So I get it. Fair pointed out, people who maybe you're saying to wait until they have the production figured out. I don't know if they're necessarily going to fix it. They haven't really addressed it yet. So, and it's been around for, I think, a little over a couple of months now. So yeah, in terms of other parts of the build that I enjoyed, building the engine was awesome. The transmission, all the mechanical components were by far my favorite. The body came together really quick and was super satisfying, because at that point, honestly, it was a lot of work to get all this stuff done. I spaced it out around an hour a day for like 15 days or 14 days, some going over an hour on those other days. But it was really fun being able to see all of it come together. The 4-wheel drive system, I think by far was probably the most unique part to this vehicle that I didn't get to experience on the Porsche. I know the Bugatti has it as well, but seeing it here for the first time for me was really cool. Yeah, at the end of the day, this is what the instructions result in, but you also have unlimited options with your creativity. So, oh yeah, wait, price. This one costs $380. You guys probably already know that. And then plus tax, like $400. Like here in California, it's $400 plus dollars. So a significant amount of money. Would I, let's say, knowing what I know now, would I still buy it? The answer is yes. This thing's gonna last forever. Like I did with the Porsche, I was able to take it apart, put it back together, and just experience the whole thing again, which was super fun. Take your time in the process. Do it with people. I think that's one of my biggest recommendations. And enjoy the experience, because that's really the most fun. Once it's sitting here, it's just sitting here, unless you want to drive it around and stuff or make videos like me. So yeah, guys, those are my thoughts. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.